Hi, and welcome to the third episode of Alley After Dark. Today's episode comes from Reddit. It's from a user named Serati. It's from 13 years ago. If this is you, please reach out and I will give you credit for this story. We're going to jump right into it. And today's story takes place somewhere in rural United States. So go ahead and lock your doors and turn off the lights and get ready for another episode of Alley After Dark. My house was built in 1904. It is a single family home, wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I have been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and me have seen or heard in this house, this one event is my favorite. This happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friends started a garage band playing mostly Spanish rock, alternative music but in Spanish. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening and would usually call it quits around 8 p.m. This was the time I usually left because I worked the graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came about. My brother handed his car keys to a buddy so they could load the equipment. Everyone had filed out of the basement. The tricky part was that they needed to walk all the way to the back of the basement, up the stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall, into the living room, and out onto the front porch. Everyone was sitting outside in my brother's truck waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs when he remembered that he'd left his pancakes in a to-go container sitting on a speaker in the basement. He made the decision to go back. Now, the basement is not clean, with full sight lines. There had been partitions made, and the boiler and main heating unit are right smack in the middle. So after my brother walks back and he's about to retrieve his food container, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees it. It's a shadowy figure right at his peripheral. The feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother. We had been taught that if you're in the presence of a spirit or ghost, and if you feel a bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or to cuss at it. My brother chose the latter. He basically said, "Hey, F you, I don't have time for this." My brother started to walk back up the basement, briskly up the stairs, closing the door and turning off the lights as he was walking out. The last switch is on the opposite side of the front door. Luckily, the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with its amber light. My brother said that he felt something at his back, but at no point did he turn around, as he flicked the last switch and the living room went dark as the rest of the house. He stepped out and pulled the door closed behind him, still holding his food container in one hand. He jogged down the few porch steps as he walked towards the front gate of our house that resides far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard but no rear garage. As he closed the gap between himself and his friend-laden truck, he kind of smiled and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for spooking out when there was no reason. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, putting his seatbelt on and getting ready to pull out of the parking spot directly in front of the house, when one of his friends asked, "Hey, wait, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us?" My brother answered, "What do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He's already gone. Do you see his car anywhere?" The next question they asked, "So then who was walking behind you when you were leaving the house?" So I want to hear your thoughts on this. I think this story definitely leaves you with a feeling of uneasiness, and I loved it. So if you guys have a story to share, please reach out. I have an email in my bio, and I'd love to hear from you directly, and I'd love to share it on my channel. Thanks, guys. Bye.